Hey, what up, everybody? One coach's opinion. And I'm driving again, Kenny. Yeah. So I do my one coach's opinion driving, but it's my opinion. Nobody else's. Now, people ask me about the Vasil Lomachenko and Nicholas Walters fight. And I said from the beginning, and it might be harsh, but it was my opinion. I said, yeah, I don't think. And I posted it earlier. A guy texted me. He said, "Do you think Walters has a chance?" I said, "No." And here's why. So I want to back it up because he was asking me why. I didn't want to text all that. But usually when fighters have nicknames like Axeman or Left Hook or Brick House, or Punisher, or some, usually, and I'm not just assuming, I've watched Nick Walters fight, but he sits on probably 90% of his punches. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really have, with the exception of maybe his jab, and even his jab, he has a strong foot down on his jab. So usually fighters like that sit on their punches. I knew that Lomachenko wouldn't give him time to sit on his punches. I knew that, you know. His movement, his angles, towards the end of the fight, he was taking the best angle. Lomachenko was moving to his right outside of Nicholas Walters' jab. He was catching him with shots. And people don't realize when you show a guy like that has been a world champion, when you start outclassing him in that manner and he's not really landing shots and you become a punching bag, sometimes you can get flustered. Now, do I think he could have finished the fight? Yeah, definitely he could have finished the fight. I mean, if that's what the fans wanted. But maybe he recognized that he was beaten that day, you know. And, you know, I know the fans paid their money for tickets and, you know, I mean, the majority of y'all watching on HBO and you pay your cable bill. If that leads to he should have finished the fight because I pay my Comcast bill every month, then yeah, he should have finished the fight. But he knew that he couldn't do nothing with him. That movement was killing. The angles, the confusion, not being there. It was different. I mean, and some people say, well, what about when he fought Nonito? Nonito had movement. Nah, I think Lomachenko would crush Nonito Donaire. I said Nonito had the kind of, I think Nonito, be honest with, I thought Nonito was riding off the junior Pac-Man. Oh yeah, he's the next Pacquiao, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really see much in him at the time. And then when he fought somebody, that's when you really see, to me, what a guy is made of when they actually fight a competitive opponent. Then you see, is this guy as great as everybody thought he was? You know, and when Nonito fought a great opponent and just fought somebody else, they let him see that you're not as good as you think you are. People have been putting people in front of you that you could dominate and make your style look better. And I don't think that's what happened to Nicholas Walters. I don't think that he's not a guy. I think anybody else Nicholas Walters gives a good fight to. Anybody else. But somebody with the movement like Lomachenko, and anybody knows me as a trainer, I love that movement. I love the angles of boxing. I think it's stupid to sit face to face with a guy and trade punches. You know, I think creating that angle is what it's all about. But anybody else Nicholas Walters would do fine with. You know, it was just a night of, this has never happened to me. I've never been in this situation. I've never been outclassed like this. It didn't even really look like he was taking a serious amount of damage, but only Nicholas Walters really knows what type of damage he was taking. And you could compare this to Costa Tszyu and Ricky Haddon. When Costa Tszyu quit in the 12th round, and all the judges say, look, if he wins the 12th round, he wins the fight. But Costa Tszyu was a forward fighting puncher. And when Ricky Haddon was pushing him back, he didn't understand. In his mind, he was losing. He was losing every round. He didn't know that he was that close into the fight. That's why when he quit, it shocked everybody because he was like, he didn't really realize because that's not his fight style. He doesn't fight backwards. He was forced to fight backwards, and he wasn't comfortable with it. So it made him feel like he was losing. He said, I didn't think I could win the fight, so I quit. You know, Ricky Hatton was putting a lot of pressure on him, so he quit. But all the judges felt that Costa Tszyu could have won the fight if he won the last round. It was that close of a fight. And Nicholas Walters, if you notice, Nicholas Walters can't fight backwards. He had no backwards counters, nothing. All his backwards was panic backwards. Like I'm trying to get out the way of punches. You know, Lomachenko could fight forwards, backwards, side to side. You know, and that made the difference in the fight. You know, Nicholas Walters, I'm not taking nothing from him, but matchups have a lot to do with fight. And I know a lot of people like, I don't want to see this. It'd be the boring fight of the year. But Rigondeaux and Lomachenko would be the fight of my dreams. I would love to see who wins that technical battle. Now, if you're coming to see a bunch of guys brawl and throw 1,000 punches and get punched in the face and eyes get slashed and bloody noses, you don't want to watch that fight because I don't think it's going to be like that. Neither one of them are going to let that happen to them because of their fight style. But I would love to see that fight. I definitely would love to see that fight. You know, I'm a big Laura fan. I think Laura has a movement like that really confuses a lot of people if they're not used to it. You know, and he showed that, you know. But the difference between Laura and Lomachenko is Laura kind of does it in a way that he's adjusting to the offensive fighter. Lomachenko uses it to take the offense away from the fighter because he can do it forward, he can do it backwards. Laura's a good slick counter puncher with a decent forward game, you know. But Lomachenko has a good side-to-side forward game, not letting you know when I'm attacked. He has a good attack game, a good retreat game, you know. He's a well-rounded fighter, and I think Rigondeaux is the same way too. And but Laura's the type that if he's actually winning a fight and you stop fighting, Laura probably won't fight you back. He'll probably sit and wait on you and jab you and you know, do some things that make it look like he's running, where Lomachenko turns his great defense into a great offense. So yeah, I didn't think Nicholas Walters had a chance to axe man. I thought, you know, he sits too much on his right hand, and that's his axe, and he's fighting a southpaw, and I knew if it's a smart southpaw, he's going to stay outside of his jab, taking away the right hand, which really made a big difference to him. So I hope everybody liked the fight. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't because he quit. And I seen everybody on Facebook like, he quit? What, man? He shouldn't get paid, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if he has to go, I mean, basically, they might have given him one round. They might have given him one round. Those aren't the official judges, but they might have given him one round, and they were arguing about that. But if you say he needed to take 5 more rounds of punishment in order to get a paycheck, then you've probably never been in the ring or never had anybody in the ring or worked the corner to say, but if I'm working the corner and my fighter has no chance of winning the fight, besides maybe landing that big haymaker, and he's taking punishment. I mean, when you see it, if you know a fighter and he's doing things that you have never known him to do, that's almost the same as him having a bloody nose, bloody eye, or taking damage. Be taking mental damage. He's being put in a position that he's never been put in before. And I don't mean like, oh yeah, well, you guys learn to work around it. I mean, like, it could be worse than a beating. It could be worse than a beating. So I mean, I can't say I agree with him stopping, but I can say that I understand why he did stop. You know, it didn't make no sense to him. If he knows I've done everything, I pulled out every bag of tricks that I have in my arsenal, and it's not working against this guy. He's superior. That's what he said. To me, that was better than a knockout, because Nicholas Walters, when he refused to fight, told Lomachenko, you are superior than me in this sport. It might not be a lot of other guys that are, but you are superior than me in this sport. And me, as a as a coach, I can respect that. And I mean, that to me, that's better than a knockout. That's better than a knockout. To make a champion like Nick Walters quit is better than knocking him out. So that's why I didn't think he had a chance, and I was right on this one. I thought the movement would kill him. I mean, Lomachenko is I knew that if he caught Lomachenko, he might have a chance, but Lomachenko has a chin too. So that narrowed that down too. And Nicholas Walters isn't a debilitating puncher where, you know, he hits guys and they're like, I don't know. He's not that type of puncher anyway. He just hits hard, you know. So shout out to Nick Walters for giving it your best try. Definitely shout out to Lomachenko for putting on a classy performance, you know. And once he found the angles, it was, you know, it was brilliant. A mental shutdown. So shout out to Lomachenko. You know, one coach's opinion, that was my take on the fight. I was right all the way on this fight. I said he was going to crush him. And that's what my version of crush was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that Nick Walters would sit there and look like Rocky in the fight. So, one coach's opinion. Tell me what you think. I hope you enjoyed the fight. I'm out.